Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, here to talk to you about a game that released into early access recently, Oriental Empires. I will most likely be doing a campaign let's play of this game to showcase it in action, but this video is to give you an overview and explain why you may or may not be interested in it. Full disclosure, I received this game for free from the developers, however, no strings attached, and my word is, of course, very important to me. Oriental Empires is a turn-based strategy game, taking cues from Civilization and games like Frozen Synapse with synchronized turns. As the name suggests, it's set in the east, focusing on China and Mongolia, giving you the opportunity to play as one of the various empires in the region. You can play a custom game, which allows you to set variables for the game, or the grand campaign, to what seems like an endless number of turns. Multiplayer is currently locked as the game is in early access, and I'll be curious to see how that works. In the Grand Campaign, you can choose from a variety of factions, having to unlock quite a few of them by playing 200 turns of the Grand Campaign first. Each of these factions have various starting advantages and disadvantages, and historically, this game doesn't try to recreate a specific period, leaning more towards creating an appropriate feeling in-game. The music, the units, the buildings, the flavor text, technological mechanics, etc., they're all made to feel as though you are truly a Chinese emperor. Many have compared the game to a blend between Civilization and Total War. That is entirely inaccurate, but not in a bad way. The game is more like Civilization with the introduction of some interesting mechanics that make the game a bit more tactical when it comes to battle. City building plays much like any Civ game, though you start with a city here. For new cities, you travel to spots with settlers looking for an ideal area with ample resources and drop down a new settlement. These can then be improved in a few ways. Certain buildings, such as farms, can be placed outside the city limits, while others, such as recruitment centers, are built within the city limits. Cities will build trade networks on their own as well if they have resources to trade, allowing your economy to grow alongside your populations and cities themselves. Recruitment works in an interesting way where any units you choose to muster are levied immediately, but to recruit more of the same unit category, you have to wait a number of turns before the recruitment pool is replenished. This means you can respond quickly to evolving threats, but only to a degree, forcing you to manage your troops to a greater extent. When out and about, your units travel in stacks. This is one way the game has a touch of Total War and a step away from Civilization. Placing multiple units in one hex makes them stack into a single army, and having a well-composed army can make a big difference on the battlefield. Each of these units in the army can be given specific behaviors to follow during battle, aptly called battle plans in the game. These battle plans, along with the ability to control stack facing, adds an interesting layer to moving around the map that is often missing in turn-based strategy games. Units only move when you end your turn. Turns act as planning phases, allowing you to select research streams, deal with events and encounters that are scattered around the map for your characters to receive some boon or punishment, etc. When you hit end turn, all movement orders are executed across all factions. This means armies can be intercepted on their way to their destination, battle plans can fall apart, and entire wars can be lost as a result of poor planning and scouting across your military wing. Zooming into the map slows all units down into real-time movement, allowing you to watch marches and battles up close in what is a great transitional effect. Zooming away or clicking the fast forward button speeds units up instead, allowing you to skip past the more boring turn orders. Beyond this, technology, administration, and public order work in interesting ways. There are 4 intertwined tech trees. Power, craft, thought, and knowledge all affect your economy, your culture, your authority, and your military capabilities. You can research one technology from each of these groups at the same time, and since some capabilities are intertwined, there is some strategic foresight needed here as well. Meanwhile, edicts can be passed at any time, and most of them can be cancelled, though some only last a few turns or can't be cancelled at all. These can cause unhappiness when changed, and can also reduce your authority when cancelled, so their benefits need to be weighed against your current state situation. Peasants and nobles are kept happy when you develop culture, either through technology, buildings, or events and encounters. Culture acts as a unifier for your people, and also as a victory condition. Meanwhile, authority is essential to keep nobility happy. They will not follow a leader who lacks authority, and this too can be modified by technology, encounters, etc. Authority limits your growth as well. If you have more cities than your authority allows, you can expect unhappiness across the board with your nobles as you extend your reach beyond your means. On the topic of extending beyond your means, you will often encounter other factions that you simply cannot declare war on right now, and must resort to more diplomatic routes. Diplomacy is very much an aspect of this game, allowing most of the standard diplomatic conversations such as tributes, non-aggression pacts, etc., with the addition of the demand or offer to be recognized as emperor. directly related to a victory condition. If enough of the global population accepts you as the emperor, you win the game. Apart from opposing factions, you will also have to occasionally battle against the world itself. Natural disasters such as floods can lead to increased unrest, revolt, and an economically damaged state. Technology and structures help you counter these inevitabilities, and they add another interesting layer to the game that you have to be prepared to contend with. Beyond the mechanics, the game is audio-visually quite nice. Being in early access, we don't know what the future holds for these two categories, but the audio never got grating in my time playing, and it was a nice touch to help you feel the culture and emotion and the setting of the game through and through. The map is also a beautiful sight. The units themselves aren't particularly gorgeous to look at, but the terrain changes as the seasons pass, and when natural disasters come about, the world comes to life. Zooming into cities and farms, traveling through the vast countryside, and watching your troops march have a fitting serenity that is countered by the clash of swords when it's time for war. So, to anybody that has been told that this game is a blend of Civilization and Total War, you've been misled. This game is very similar to Civilization, with added layers of tactical and strategic thought, more complex unit orders, and a very interesting synchronized turn mechanic. That isn't to say Civilization isn't strategically complex, it's just that Oriental Empires takes a different path to it. If you're a fan of these types of games, I would highly recommend trying the game out. I will be playing through the game more on my channel as long as you guys are interested, and it might give you more insight and help you make an informed decision. If you enjoy the culture this game focuses on, you will greatly enjoy the touches of historical and cultural reference. While it's possible that scenarios are added in some future build, don't look to this game for a historical recreation of a specific time period just yet. The mechanics offered in the game are very interesting, and if you like the thought of expanding your kingdom and becoming the Emperor of China, it's definitely worth looking at, especially at its current price around $30. I hope this overview has been helpful. Oriental Empires looks like a great game in the making, and I imagine I'll be having a great time as I continue to play. Questions, concerns, opinions? Share them below. Otherwise, thank you for watching.